Welcome to Vikings and Valkyries, an actual play podcast. We are playing When the Wolf Comes, an RPG set in a world stretched to breaking point by the ever-present peril of Ragnarok. My name is Ian Stewart Sharp, and I will be your ever-wandering one in the adventure ahead. Joining me for yet more ruination are Bill, Steve, CJ, and Taylor. Welcome to you, Life Robbers.
Hi.
Hello, I'm here
Hello,
under duress.
you great towering intellect.
So, is everyone ready to Ragnarok and roll in this last episode?
Hell no.
After
So
that fun. Oh my God.
I don't understand the reference.
Bill, we know that the addled spirit that you play here was the first to die at the Battle of Bravelir. How do you rate your chances for this last session?
I think my chances of dying are extremely good. Particularly if CJ's backing me up. If Gigi's behind me with his throat stormer or gut bringer, I forget what the term is. I think my odds are storm shooter. There you go. See, I had one of the words. That's something. Yeah, I think I have a good chance of dying. Thanks for asking.
Good. And Steve, your character's original manifestation, you talk about taking an arrow to the knee and a sword to the head. Any predictions as to how you might snuff it?
Yeah, it'll probably be something completely pointless, probably incompetence, maybe his own, but no guarantee of that.
And Taylor, you join us again. And in the background, we've talked about your fondness for the Rohirrim. And I've remarked about how the late, great Bernard Hill played both Theoden King in Lord of the Rings and Captain Smith in Titanic. You've already gone down with a ship. So does that mean you're going to ride to everlasting glory today?
I mean, that's the hope, but there's a nagging voice in the back of my head that somehow Cole is going to get killed by Gigi somehow. That's the fear I have.
A red sun rising.
Exactly.
Might I remind you that Gigi was outdone by air, who sucked two of our guests, not one, but two, into a black hole. Thank you very much. I only gunned down one guy.
Much like Theoden King was killed by his horse, I feel like I'm going to be killed by my friend here. It's just going to happen.
But he'll just roll over you, much like the horse.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then CJ, the hero of your novels, has been described as the lusty and terrifying old warrior of the Loire and the Somme, and he lived to a ripe old age for a 9th century Viking. So do you see yourself going to Valhalla or dying a straw death like Hastings?
Well, we think he lived a long time, but it's improbable that he did, because if we are to believe the sources, then a crusty old Viking would have lived into his 90s, which is really improbable. But anyway, that aside, what's Gigi gonna do? Who knows? I don't know if our listeners have picked up on this, but the whole, it's none of y'all business piece was because how Gigi got roped into all this isn't because he wants to be a hero. It's because he's been desperately trying to conceal the fact that how he got embroiled in this in the first place was to conceal the fact that he had a sex robot and it got away from him. And yet no one has picked up on this, or Gigi has not, so it still hasn't come out. So I think the better question is not whether or not Gigi is going to survive today, but whether he's going to be able to preserve his honor by keeping that a secret.
What did you do to the robot? Why did it?
You don't want to
Did you
know.
try turning it off and turning it back on again?
Now, it's funny because Hastings, depending on your source for the name of the hero, he's been described as lots of things, but my favorite, and paraphrasing it because the Dudo of St. Quentin list is quite long, but he's called death-dealing, uncouth, fertile in ruses, warmonger general, traitor, fomenter of evil, and double-dyed dissimulator.
That's my favorite.
I just wondered if you've borrowed some of that in your portrayal of Gigi.
Gigi is too aloof, I think, right? Because the whole point of Hastings is that he's cunning and cruel. A shrewd businessman is what I like to say. Gigi is none of those things. Gigi is still kind of clueless.
It's right in.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're going to change things up a little bit for our quiz, in that I'm not going to ask you, our supposed heroes, for the answer. Instead, I'm going to throw it open to our listener. And instead of offering up an inspiration point, I'm going to do a giveaway So in the saga, we've had death by bear, bullet, blade, and black hole. And so I'm going to pose a question to our listener, and the question is this: how many player characters have died in the whole Thought and Memory Saga? If you send me your answers to ianstewartsharp@vikingverse.com, if you're correct, I will send you some Vikingverse goodies. Bill's just signifying on screen here multiples of 10. So again,
We wouldn't have been able to answer that anyway. So come on, listeners. You can do this.
We don't really track them once they fall. They're not really so useful anymore.
There's no point.
No.
Now, at the same time, we're also going to do an internal prize giving. We're going to give one of our guests an ASCII. So what is an ASCII? I hear you cry. Well, the Oscars do best film, best director, etc. And the ASCIIs are the Norse equivalent. We only have one category, or at least one category that you can vote on, and that is for best death. So again, if you're listening to the podcast, you do come find me on @Vikingverse on social media, or reach out via vikingverse.com, or send me an email with your vote for who should be showered in glory for the way that they went out. Now, any early votes from the assembled heroes here? Any thoughts as to who really deserves to clutch that ASCII and make a speech?
Well, Taylor for one. That was really good.
He's not dead yet.
There's a count. It's much like Gigi on the rocket ship. What happened?
There's so many to choose from, so many senseless deaths. It's wonderful.
I was quite fond of Jay Hopkins' death. That was a fun one.
Death.
He's died
plural.
Yeah, he's died multiple times.
Sorry, yeah, exactly.
And I enjoyed Joe Leo because that battle that we did with the bone bear at the beginning, and all of us were not only incompetent but also very low level. Air ran for the hills, if you guys recall. Luomi didn't want to catch fire.
Yeah.
Gigi failed, I think rolled a 1 in the middle of the battle, and then he picked up the bone bear and carried it into the fire to save us all. I think that one has my vote.
Joe from Vikings versus Samurai has obviously got those two great honorable societies combined in one.
I actually really liked Ed, the sex robot sacrifice early on, attempting to cheat at the big fight and just being cut in half. It was pointless and futile, and I think a beautiful embodiment of everything that had happened already and everything that was yet to come.
Very good. Well, if our listener does want to write in and vote for someone that they feel went down swinging, then please do so. And if you're one of our guests and you're listening to this and you want to start a campaign to earn that ASCII for the best death, then feel free to take to social media and get the Academy on your side.
May I add one more honorable mention, though, because I just thought that this was great. Have you seen the movie The Departed? And there's that shocking scene where Martin Sheen gets thrown off the building, and then you just see him just go, right? We had one of those in the show. It was Josh Gillingham. He goes up on the roof, and whatever that thing was up there, it just gets hurled up. And it was so beautiful and shocking at the same time, because then when he fell and he's just dead, and everyone paused and we all looked at each other, and none of us it didn't really sink in for at least 3 seconds that he died instantly.
Lots of memorable moments. All right, well, let's see if we don't have a few more to add to the tally. We begin our adventure on the edge of Halpmakar. You have been charged by Min to return the Raven's thought and memory to Odin. You hold one Raven skull around your neck, and you have been drawn by the spirit of the other back here to this frozen town in the arse end of nowhere. The name Halpmakar means help each other, and today we will see whether that is indeed the fate carved for you by the Norns. If you fail, you have been warned that the boundaries between past, present, and future will collapse. Now, Taylor has returned as Old King Cole, who has now lived 2 lives for a total of nearly 3 millennia. And in case you were wondering, Taylor has come back because as the Falcon made planetfall, it traveled further back in time, landing a week before the Weaver and 2 weeks before the rest of you. He obviously survived, perhaps because he carried the seeds of Yggdrasil from the doomed planet, or perhaps because he is an unwitting pawn in a game of cosmic chess. So, Taylor, as you stand with these, what did you call them, fucking idiots at the end of the last episode, as you stand surveying the dark, curfewed town of Hapmakar that you know is defended to the hilt by the sons of Avaldi and their overclocked legions and their Drin warriors. Do you have a plan?
I believe I do. 1,500 years of sitting around waiting gives one a lot of time to think. So, you still have the Raven Skulls, I trust?
Singular,
Raven
yes.
Skull? Raven Skulls, right?
The what?
This plan thing, that's not how we usually do things, but hey, what the heck?
Yes, I know we're going against the grain here, but we're actually going to try and execute a plan here. For the plan is based on chaos. For we are the Black Swans, and we are chosen to sow chaos and confusion. So therefore, no one will expect what we're about to do. So the first thing, Gigi, big man, you know there are hostages that we need to take advantage of rescuing?
I had no idea.
Okay, I should have assumed. There
Now
are some
ask me if I care.
News update.
I can guess. However, it is important that we rescue the hostages that are being held in the Church of the 1-0. It's right over there. That big temple-y looking building that you can see. We need a way for you to get in there, get those hostages out, and return to us here. Some sort of distraction would be probably the best way to do that. Perhaps feign an illness or enter as a person seeking immortality from this temple and church. I leave the theatrics up to you.
I'm sorry. Wait. I must interject. I'm sorry, Cole. But do you mean to tell me you've had 1,500 years plus knowledge of the future to plan this, and this is the best you've got?
It's phase one.
Let's workshop it.
I'm going out the steps one by one so you can all digest it. It was a wonderful 1,500 years until you lot showed up, but here we are. Now, you will serve as our distraction, Genie. Meanwhile, Eric, you will be monumental in helping us to make our way into the city. We are facing quite a few enemies in there, and among them will be likely hordes of drones. These drones will be incredibly effective in disrupting any stealth mission we want to achieve in this endeavor, and I think you are well placed to take care of them. While that is going
kaboom?
on, kaboom, big kaboom. In short, Yomi, since you have the Raven Skull, you have the ability to sneak in and return it, while the rest of us create a diversion. Era will be taking care of clearing your path, and while all this is going on, I will draw out all the forces, give them a distraction to come fight. Bob Zero?
There's no way for this to fail.
None whatsoever. It is bulletproof, because every step of it is based on the knowledge that you will not do exactly what we think you will do, and that will aid us.
Is Gigi not jumping on the roof of the temple? I think I'm slightly confused.
What do I do once I'm inside?
You need to rescue the hostages inside there. We need to get them out of there and to safety.
Hell's advocate, if we're trying to prevent the end of the world, what do the hostages matter?
He said, trying to maintain his honor of +9 and inherit the title of Jarl of Hapmakar. Not much point being a ruler of a barren waste.
Exactly.
So for me, for Yomi, it's just putting the skull we have with the other skull. That's all that I need to do. I see it. I wasn't really paying attention. I was waiting for Gigi to do something.
You all have very specific individual tasks that are as simple as I could make them, knowing that that's basically the attention span I'm working with here. So, while all this is going on, I will assemble a small force that will charge in to draw their forces out, leaving the town as unmanned as possible. I have been spending time creating a wonderful collection of Isbjorn that can come into the fray. They're far more than bears at this point. They are the most wonderful beasts that will lay waste to all the foes in front of us.
Turns out that when you leave bear cubs back in the past, it gives these elder trees the ability to nurture them into a fighting force, into bear cavalry.
So thank you for forgetting the bear cubs with me. It actually worked out very well.
All part of the plan.
Yes.
All right, CJ, let us then begin with your distraction. So the Church of the 1-0 stands on the site of the former Temple of the Bear, which was burnt down, and then this new facility was recreated, built in record time, and it is a bright, glowing, electric edifice into which the surviving townsfolk, which include people like Gunnar Weatherbag, Solveig Cooking Kettle, the Deverg Wetchkret, and various others, they've been herded into this church, perhaps to use as bargaining chips, because you'll remember that Bangsi Valderson, the head of the Winter Wires, knows you are coming.
So Gigi just walking up by himself might be suspect. And if he's going to feign illness, so he's going to turn to everybody. This might ruin our plan. Do we have any other people with us who can help with this?
The only other people that you have are the Alpha, who are all mounted on their Isbjorn as the bear cavalry to ride alongside Cole as he comes to your rescue and helps evacuate the hostages once you have found your way in. Right now, you suspect that they have a gun held to their temples.
Gigi's thinking.
You find it likely that they will believe that a bear is carrying you to a temple for healing, more than you coming on your last reserves of strength.
Oh, is that the purpose of the temple, is to heal? That would have been good information. I know nothing about 1-0.
So you remember that the Church of the 1-0 is trying to create a unification of man and machine for the purposes of ascension to godhood.
I know. All right, I shall go. So Gigi's going to start walking toward the temple of 1-0 by himself, evidently, since you all have other things to do.
So you crunch through the ice and snow. The buildings around you are all dark and abandoned, boarded up with no lights on in the curfew, apart from the electric halo of the church. There are stained glass windows in an old, almost Christian style, and the huge timber door stands before you, ready to be knocked upon.
Then Gigi shall step up to the door and knock 3 times. 3 is a very important number in Norse mythology. It's prophetic.
It is indeed, and the door swings open, and inside can see the townsfolk, all tied and bound, manacled to the pews, and in front of you a familiar figure in the form of Steingrimr Evaldison, the green-robed priest, the berserker you met, once buried an axe in this gentleman's head, but he is clearly alive and well, presumably the benefits of being a member of a clone race.
Does he say anything to Gigi? Gigi kind of looks.
He strides over to you and he says, "Well, I do declare, if it isn't Dwerg Diggler himself, have you come to repent and make amends for your sins?"
And Gigi is going to drop to his knees and grasp at his robes and say, "Thank the gods you answered the door. You won't believe. I've been wounded, poisoned. Something. I'm dying. I need your help desperately, please."
"There is no need to thank the gods, for there is only the great and mighty Meme. What is it that you want, Asgardian?"
"I need to be healed and repent, as you say."
"Why, that is mighty noble and courageous of you. We welcome you then, by the grace of the great Ivaldi. You will serve as a role model for all of these ingrates and naysayers. And he gestures to the whimpering townsfolk surrounding him.
Yes, that's what I want. What must I do?
Well, you have reached childhood end, and now you can bloom, bathed in a skin of steel. For is it not the will of Mim the Rememberer to become one with the machine? Do not worry, for the pain of the molten metal is fleeting, and you will be born again.
I do not know the will of this Mim, but I am not against enhancements. Look, and he pulls out his tongue with the Os rune.
Praise be to the Lord Mim, for the Messiah has come. He is one with the great machine in the sky.
Am I? Yes, I am. Oh, I repent. No, wait. You repent.
Now, in the background, you see Solveig Cookenkettle, the feisty proprietor of the local inn. She is tussling with one of the guards, a kind of cybernetic sentry. She is due to be executed next. You hear her say, I do not want my long hair to get bloody, so you best leave me alone.
I feel like that was a hint.
At that, one of the church brethren holds her braid as she kneels, as they get ready to execute her.
Wait. Why is this woman being put to the axe, sword, machine? Why is she being put to death?
Because we need every single skull we can get to repower Meme the Mighty. Only by giving it brains to reconstitute the thought and memory that was lost is the machine going to be powered once again.
Are you implying that these feeble brains are going to feed your machine that is meant to be infinitely intelligent?
That would be the case if only we had the raven skull that was missing.
What if I told you I could find it for you?
At that moment, Solveig jerks her head back and the executioner's gun goes off. Because he was holding her braid, she has pulled him off balance. The shot that was destined for her temple ricochets against the roof and hits the stunned Steingrimmer. A second soldier rushes towards her but is tripped by Gunnar Weatherbag and drops his weapon. Solveig promptly picks it up, wriggles into cover and begins to shoot. Gunnar Weatherbag looks at you and says, "Well, what are you waiting for, you great big bloody oaf?"
Hold on. I'm so tempted to just start shooting everybody. But it might be a mistake. So Gigi has an ally, feels that sense, that rush, and he'll say, "To Folkvanger!" Because Valhalla's for the bravest, and he's not. So he's going to pull out his storm shooter. No, wait. The shaker. He's got a shaker. So where's everybody in relation to Solveig versus the people? Can I blast somebody in the face, like short range, and just kind of take him down right out of the gate?
So you're trying to fight in a more precise manner. Is that right, Gigi?
I don't want to kill my ally just yet.
Right away, yeah. Tasteless.
So imagine that you are in a classic church with pews either side and an altar at the far end. You're in the central aisle. To your left and your right are the townsfolk, all tied or manacled or shackled to the pews. Steingrimmer had walked straight towards you, towards the door. He has now fallen, a bullet through the brain, and both Solveig and Gunnar are towards the far end by the altar, where they are now taking matters into their own hands and raining fiery vengeance on the half a dozen or so overclocked sentinels that are in the room. You could quite easily aim your shaker at the 4 advancing guards, the bodyguard of Steingrimmer, the people that had once executed poor Matt Forbeck.
Yeah, them.
Then make your roll.
Gigi pulls the trigger.
If you do full auto, you don't need to roll, you just roll for damage.
Right. And then I've got 3d6 plus... Oh, I should have cast blood runes on the gun before. Oh, well, I will use Orlog instead. And then per level, I get an extra d6, right?
Yep.
Now let's just do 2 and I'll roll 5. Ooh, that was good. Ooh, that was really good. So it's 18.
Somewhat shocked and surprised by the onslaught from both sides, none of the cybernetic guards make their rolls. And so taking 18 damage is not enough to fell them completely, but they tumble to try and get some kind of cover amidst the pews, where they are immediately set upon by the townsfolk themselves, coming from good Viking stock. They rip impromptu weapons from the church itself, grabbing everything from balustrades to candlesticks and beginning to cudgel the overclocked into bloody pulps.
Well, that was easy and successful. Take that, Cole.
The fight in the church has echoed through the otherwise eerily silent town, and sirens begin to go off. If there is a time to make that bear cavalry charge, it is now.
Excellent. So I'm assuming we're just looking at the map. We're epically on a hill looking down over the city. That would be very convenient.
Looking at the map that's in the campaign book, yes, you were probably best poised somewhere near the old Asbjornsen estate that was burnt down, enabling you to sweep in from the east.
Right after Gigi would have left, before the chaos broke out, I think Cole would turn to the other two and say, all right, I will assemble on the eastern hills. You have your task, you have your missions. It'll be obvious when we start our charge, and it'll be hopefully even more obvious when Gigi has completed his task. As soon as we begin, go. Don't wait. There will be no other signal other than the triumph of Gigi's bullets and the thunder of our paws on the hill.
So in the depths of midnight, the Alfar line up around you, their bark and boughs glistening with frost and starlight, mounted on their snarling polar bears, the spirits look every part the mythical warriors of old, demons of the dead, ready to fight one last battle. With their shimmering spears and sturdy shields, they await your command to charge.
This is fucking epic. Okay. I will slowly begin to pace up and down the front of the line of other Alfar, and on my polar bear, I begin to hear the noises of the chaos from the temple, so I know the moment is nigh. And I will turn and I'll say, children of the hallowed stars, kin of the elder flame, the hour is upon us. Not one of wrath, nor of chaos, but of balance, long denied. They have mistaken our silence for surrender and our patience for peace. But where they bring steel and noise, we will bring stillness. The cold hush that follows final breath. So ride now. Not for glory, not for vengeance, but because this is written. Because the stars will remember us. Because we are the last line and the final vengeance. Let them learn what haunts the dark between the worlds. Alfar, ride. And I'll turn and charge.
Pretty impressive. Bill and Steve, you've probably got about 5 minutes to come up with your own little speech. Get going.
Leomi turns to Air and says, I'm just thinking I probably should have asked how I find the other skull. I'm not quite clear on that bit.
No, I have no idea.
Yeah, well, I'm sure it'll be fine. Gigi will jump on something. It'll be fine. It always works out.
All right, Cole. The Ispion sprint towards the town. They swat away the Drin and they bowl through guards, their teeth punching through their metal armor. Despite their formidable size, they move at frightening speed. The Alfar sound their horns and fire round after round as they run down the soldiers of the Mimic Church. You may make a round of attacks. If you will.
Beautiful. And then about how many, what was it, like between 30 and 50 soldiers were stationed there overall, or?
You don't have an accurate number, but it is a group that have come out of the Firefox Institute in the center of town, and you are both charging towards each other. They are spraying you in the darkness using their infrared vision to be uncannily accurate, and shots are winging and whistling past the Alpha and your Ursine steeds. The Alpha look to shrug them off in the main, although one or two fall from their mounts.
As I charge in, I will raise my Hellspetter and begin shooting wherever I see either forms or muzzle flashes that are indicating their positions. And I will use weapon mastery and expertise and all those variations to get as many shots off as I can.
So you should be able to make 3 attacks at your high level.
And because of weapons handling, I can use a wheel on those. So first attack. Ooh, that's gonna be good. That's going to be a 22. Second attack is a 12. And the third attack is a 21.
The 2 that rolled over 20 will both benefit from the forceful strike, which will enable you to add another dice 6 to the roll.
Oh, beautiful.
And the middle one there is a miss, unfortunately. Just roll your damage.
Yep, first one is going to be 13. And the second one will be, oh, that's great, 18.
Your shots are fired with deadly accuracy, and again, whilst they don't kill any one of your opponents outright, they are flung to the ground by the accuracy of your shots. Do you want to roll for the bear as well?
Yeah, let's do that. And he just gets...
I think we're going to say she,
Yeah.
because your bear is none other than Snow
Nice.
White.
Hell yeah. That is very poetic. I love it. She will use her claw attack, but I'm going to go ahead and have her pick the closest target and do the maul action. So first one is a dirty 20, and the second one is... Ooh, that's not great. That one is an 8.
Okay, so roll for
2d6.
the damage on that. You get an extra dice 6 because of your saddle beast.
That's right. So it's a 3d6 plus 1. So 12.
Snow White thrusts its paw through the shoulder of one of the overclocked, dismantling its servo-assisted arm, and it clatters to the floor. Let us go to Air. Steve, what did you want to do from your vantage point at the Aspion estate? In the once smouldering ruins, now they are a forlorn ashen heap.
Well, from here, Air would like to clear a path for not only for the Icebjorn, but for ourselves, because we need to get Leomi and the useful skull to the middle of town.
Before Air can take any action,
So,
Leomi reaches out and puts one hand on his shoulder and says, I want you to know, you gaudy abomination of stone, I have loathed you from the very start.
I know.
Well enough.
Yeah, fair enough. Enough sentiment. We will drop a storm seat on, which is a long-range area effect attack on a handy-looking group of these enemies that are in the way. And we're going to start burning a path into town.
Okay, so you're just doing one of those?
Yeah, so drop one, and then use Wise Counsel to let us drop a second one. Maybe on the same group, or may push it forward further in based on how effective the first one is. I don't know if one will be enough to get rid of them.
And are you applying any of your abilities
Yes.
as a...
We will... Air will strain himself to make both of them potent, increasing the damage. So the first is... Waiting for the dice to roll. total of 25. They can make a might save with one woe for half. Does that drop them or just annoy them? Oh, there's math going on.
At least 6 of them are wrapped by the electricity and crumble to the floor again, sparking and twitching, their overclocked bodies clearly cooked.
Okay. Then Air will launch another storm seat a little further in, creating a path towards the center of town. Same thing again. He will once again strain himself. If he had veins on his forehead, you'd see them bulging. But
The diamonds are popping off.
Diamonds are popping up. Maybe they're lighting up. Maybe it's an amusing light display coming off his head. Total of 22 that time.
Not quite as effective, but at least 3 soldiers go down, falling to their knees and seizing up their motors and servos, whirring. A few others are jolted by the electricity, but continue to speed forward again. These are built to deal with incursions, and they move with alarming rapidity to deal with the threat. Now, Steve, you didn't cast or use Ancestral Wisdom, so that means you could be in danger of taking trauma
Yes,
from the strain.
it's a possibility. I should have cast that ahead of time, but that would require thinking ahead.
Cole told us to improvise. It's not Steve's fault.
Yeah.
I think we need to make a will roll with 4 woes.
Well, that's not great. Can I use... No, I don't suppose he can use Boon to roll twice. Because that would really help right now. All right, D20. 6, 18, 12.
Then you are fine. You shrug off the effects of the strain that's still building within you, the challenge of being a scratcher as you're trying to contain all kinds of realities within you at the same time, and it may well burst forth if you don't take the advantage of Ancestral Wisdom to deal with the trauma.
Reality's overrated.
Bill, let's go to you. What did you want to do in this effective round 1?
Well, I think I would have triggered Gandry on Air's first attack, so I can move between the worlds. And then I'm going to use Secret Path as a fast turn. Does that? No, that won't get me I always want it to move me instantly, but it just moves me really fast.
Correct. If you use the spirits of the land to guide your path towards a known destination, which is presumably the Firefox Institute in this case, you will move at double speed. And obviously the Gandride itself is enabling you to walk between worlds. You are a Valkyrie able to dance on the threads of fate and move incredibly swiftly.
Okay, so because of Gandrid, I can do a fast and also a slow turn. I will do a rush, moves me a bunch more, right?
So quadruple speed because of Secret Path.
And then I think I can still do a move at that point.
Then you are a shimmering blur dancing on the tides of time as you spiral through the town of Hatmakar, almost unseen in the darkness.
Yes, as I planned.
You are about halfway to your destination, a mote of light on the moonbeam outside the Church of the 1-0. Let's go to the top of round 2. Taylor, you find yourself now atop Snow White in toe-to-toe combat, or paw to claw to servo combat. You are wrestling top your beast with foemen all around you. The lightning has crackled up ahead, creating a path for Leomi to dance through, but it is up to you to stem the tide of Overclocked and the Drin that are now advancing.
I'm going to whip out my Dainslift sword and begin hacking at whatever I can reach. I guess I should clarify real quick. Is Gigi still in the temple right now? He's not on the
He
battlefield.
is still in the temple. Those shots have just
Right.
run out. We will not come to him this round, but we'll come to him next round.
So I will make 3 attacks with the sword.
So Air's kind of standing back at the vantage point, striking a pose as if he knows what the hell he's doing, and he's going to sort of look and see how is the path shaping up. Are there is there like a group of them gathering somewhere further into town? Are a bunch of them breaking through and like getting close to him? He's looking for a super juicy target, I suppose.
There was a cordon, a flotilla of drones who were hovering atop the Firefox Institute, who are now gliding above the overcroft and heading directly towards the Isbjorn charge. There are at least 10 of those area sentinels.
Okay. He will start off with Ancestral Wisdom, which he should have done, and then use Wise Counsel to let him do a second thing, and that will be to create a black hole in the air well above the Iceborn charge. Not going to make that mistake more than 2 or 3 times, and hopefully get those airborne drones dealt with.
Okay, we'll come back to you in a second. Then Taylor, what did you have as
I
you
had-
hew your way through the robotic soldiers?
I had a 21, a 22, and a 24. And one of them was a nat 20. I forget if that is
Nope,
relevant.
doesn't do
Nice.
anything
That's
in the Vikingverse.
Just
That's
it made me feel good.
5% chance. All right.
The first one, that is a 6 for the first attack, but I'm going to use the Dane's Left special ability. No, I'm not. I take that back. I'm going to hold on to that. I feel like I'm not going to be fighting a robot. So 6 for the first one, 14 for the second one, and 15 for the third one. The white will get 2 attacks. That would be a 13 for the first attack, and a 25 for the second attack.
Okay, second attack
Yep.
connects.
That would be 11 damage.
Okay, between you and your bestial mount, you savage and slay at least 3 of the wounded guards around you. Perhaps they were already reacting to the magic of air spell, but you have successfully driven the slaughter home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, your black hole.
Are they in a pretty tight clump? He's either going to enlarge it or make it last longer, based on how clumped up they are. It's got a 10-yard radius, so that's 60 feet across.
The Drin were kind of flying in formation, so as not to be exploited all in one short order. So you can expand the spell if you'd like to create your singularity, your clot of blackness to suck them in.
I don't suppose they'll see it in the middle of the night.
They have
so yes.
infrared sensors. I'm not exactly sure how a black hole appears in infrared spectrum. I imagine it does.
Or it wouldn't. Good, right.
Good
yes.
comeback,
So,
Steve.
I think it's a black hole. Light doesn't escape, so that includes infrared, right? I don't know. I'm making this up. Okay, so all of them have to roll a might with 2 woes. If they're in the effect range, they have to roll, and if they fail, they move toward the center.
At least 7 of the drones have failed and are sucked mercilessly towards the event horizon. It starts to disintegrate, their components flying apart as they shudder towards their inevitable oblivion.
Nice.
Now, let's just, for the sake of argument, take 10 dice 6 being the average of 35, right? 3.5 being the average of the dice 6. So, considering each of them have 25 health, you've got a fairly good chance of obliterating all of those affected as they are sucked into the maelstrom and vanish
Nice.
from existence. Peony, we'll go to you and your fast and your slow turns.
Yes, well, I think I'm going to start with the triggered action, Dream Monster, become effectively invisible, and then do a rush as a fast turn, do a rush as a slow turn, and do a move at the end.
Flash. Flash. Is it flash as in flash? Oh,
Yes,
or
I was
flash?
afraid. I was afraid to do the ah.
Are you
so I
gonna
couldn't-
Are you gonna save every one of us?
Yes. Well, I don't know that the odds are so great, but hey, I'll give it a shot.
Okay, that impressive burst of invisible speed means that you are no longer a mote dancing in the moonlight, but a mere shadow adrift on the midnight breeze as you dance towards the Firefox Institute, where you had once hoped to become a member of the Winter Wires, and now you find yourself in a very different position. The building itself is no longer the warm, inviting space that you once visited. The Winter Wires have dropped all pretense. The windows are shattered, the pine walls are coated in frost, and the reception area that you can see is guarded by overclocked. Not too many of them because they've been drawn out. Perhaps 2 more are standing there. The whole building has been turned into a fortress with office doors barricaded, furniture turned over, and looking like anything of value has been removed. Let's go to the enemy's turn. There are 3 remaining Drin, which launch an aerial assault on the Ispion cavalry, aiming to attack the Alpha riders. I'm going to just have one of those attack you, Cole, because the others will pick on your fellows. It strikes you with a flurry of blows from its tentacles, flailing away. You take 10 damage. Air is well out of range of the overclocked, but these creatures have the self-repair ability, and even some of the ones that are incapacitated appear to have learned from the Orcus, but they do not die. You can see them slowly repairing themselves on the ground, and some of them stagger upwards again. They also, because of their excess voltage, move incredibly quickly, and so Cole, one of them hits you with 6 damage from a burst of its own storm shooter that catches you on the leg and goes on to wound Snow White. And a second server arm comes out from another one of the creatures, a lunge from out of the darkness that hits you for 3 damage.
And that 6 damage was from bullets, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so I have ballistic vest, so that halves it.
Keep working those
Pretty
angles.
good.
Got him.
One of the other Drin is hit, swatted out of the air by another one of the polar bear cavalry, and it explodes. When Drin become incapacitated, they explode. The blast extends in a 5-yard radius. Please make a slight roll, Cole.
Okay. Oh, that's a 9 level. So yep, 9.
It is not enough. You are hit by the fiery remnants of the drone, and shards pepper you. You take 14 damage from that explosion.
Ouch.
Bill, the 2 guards facing you, one of them lets out a blast of gunfire. The second also lets out some staccato shots, but only the first barrage hits you for 11 damage.
He can see me.
Good point.
Ah, finally turned the rules on him.
Good point. You are invisible. They can't pinpoint you, so none of that applies to you, you Alpha Ninja.
Yeah.
There is a swath that has been cut through the enemy, and the hostages can now safely be removed from the Church of the 1-0. So, Gigi, is that what you wanted to do? You want to start evacuating people?
Yeah, this sounds lovely.
Follow me, everyone! I shall get you to safety. By the way, I'm Griotgarth the Magnificent. My friends call me Gigi for short. Remember the name. I'm taking you to safety.
Gunnar says, "Oh, fucking hell." Not more of him.
It's either me
The-
or death. Me or death. Me or death. Pick one. Pick one. It's me. Let's go.
Now, in the distance, out in the polar night, somewhere on the fjord, you hear a ship's horn blow discordantly. Moments later, there is a huge crunch as an icebreaker ship runs aground, piling tons of splintered ice onto the quay. Though you can't see it, Gigi, you hear the guttural cries of the yachtmen. The whalers are obviously leaping from the deck, hurling harpoons, eager to join the battle.
Whose side are they on, I wonder?
So something the listeners need to know is that Gigi is a Yofor, and he detests Jotnar. So their arrival is not a pleasant one for him. He's pretty much going to assume he needs to start shooting at them. But first,
We need to get everyone to safety.
would Gigi know of a bunker? Isn't there like a building where he can take them and kind of lock them down? Because the thought process is, let me get them to safety, and then I'm going to go kill all the Jotnar.
Okay, well, the best place to shepherd them to safety would be to hand them to your esteemed colleague, Thor. His squadron of Isbion was designed to perform this feint to lure the main attack towards him, but then also the Alpha, being noble souls, would want to escort the innocent away from the field of battle. That would free you up to investigate the new arrivals.
Let's get them to safety. Cole, be a good lad. Take them away. Somewhere safe. I did my part.
I'm assuming the monstrous presence of Gigi's voice would cut through the battlefield all the way to where Cole is, and I would hear that.
I think we've established he's quite a loud
I think so.
chap.
I think so. I think it'd be fine with the
1,500
dog.
years to plan this out, and you're not here to get the hostages out. I'm waiting.
Oh god. How many hostages total are there?
60. So it's going to be an escort mission. Perhaps you can pile a couple on each Isbion. It's not going to be easy to ferry them to safety, but
Yeah, that's kind of what I was wondering, if I could gather about 16 of my crew and put like one on the back of each with an Alphard rider, and we take them off on the back of the bears.
you could were there a further distraction or demolition from Air's spells. Perhaps in concert with him, he could rain electrical death from above, like a latter-day Thor.
I like that idea. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to send 16 of my riders towards Gigi to meet up with him and the refugees, or the hostages, I'm sorry, and I'm going to ride over to try and find error in all this and say, some more lightning would be most helpful right now. Can you help me create a diversion?
Where?
Oh, probably the center of the mass of bad guys there would probably be the most efficient.
Blinding it is. If it's Air's turn, he was then going to use Wise Counsel to meditate to get 2 storm seeds back.
I would suggest that you aim it on the overclocked that have already fallen, because when they take more damage, when they're incapacitated, then they will not get back up again, and the self-repair will be halted.
That sounds perfect. He will wind up and fling another potent storm seed.
Okay, so 5d6 plus 5.
22 points.
Again, a thunderous blast echoes from the sky, and the lightning short circuits any of the prone and floundering overclocked soldiers. Taylor will assume that you don't have to ride all the way back to him, but that you can yell out and issue those
Fabulous.
instructions from atop your mount, raising your voice over the fray of battle. You've learned something from Gigi,
From Gigi.
after all.
Yes, exactly.
Going back to the invisible Bill, what did you want to do? Did you want to find your way through?
Yes, if I can simply move past these 2 hapless guards, I think that would be the thing to do, using more rushes. Well, one fast turn rush, and then summon spirits to start giving me a bit of an edge. I need to roll for that.
And where are you headed through the building? Because it is a many-storied labyrinth of an institute.
I'm guided by the vibrations of the skull I'm wearing around my neck, he said, hopefully.
Sure, but are you going to the upper floor or are you going to the basement? What kind of...
I'm going to head down. I feel like these guys they're going to be doing whatever they're doing down.
Yes. Okay. As you dart through the abandoned offices and laboratories of the Winter Wise, you notice a lavatory. The sign glowing in the dark, and you see that the door has been recently opened, and you can continue to drift down towards the basement, or you can, just as it's creeping shut, you could possibly put your head around that door.
Let's do that. Let's have a little peeky-boo, as the Alfar like to say.
Hiding in one of the stalls is a fellow that you recognize as Blaine of Valdison, one of the major domos of the Firefox Institute, who once gave you the mission to determine the source of the ghost signal. He can see you because he wears the visor of the Sons of Ivaldi that makes him sightless, that enables him to detect all kinds of visible and invisible spectrums. And he does sound very nervous. He says, "Hello, sir. Fancy seeing you here, sir. I was just on my way to wash my hands, sir. Wash my hands of the whole business, sir. Wouldn't want to impede your egress, sir. Oh, please proceed upon your way, and I'll just ruminate here, as it were, sir."
Oh.
You know what to do.
Yeah, yes. Have I got moves left at this point then?
Well, you've used your slow turn to cast Summon Spirits, and the result of that was how many spirits?
A five.
5
Yep.
spirits. And so you can use your fast turn to take an action if you wish.
All right. I think we'll do... I don't want to suddenly become subtle at this point in the campaign. So I will
wouldn't want that.
No, I will invert everlasting runes. Go for the auto kill on this guy.
Seems a bit harsh for a man who just wanted to go to the bathroom in peace, but
I've had it at this point. It's been a heck of a night. The whole city is exploding. Gigi's killing everything. There's bears everywhere. It's all very confusing. I'm old. I'm tired. It's enough of this. He was so obsequious as well.
Who, Lioming or?
No, I've loathed you from the very start.
a will attack roll, if you please, that you could, if you wish, use your wits on using Wisdom of the Ages.
I thought I'd get an auto kill with the Everest.
You do once you hit. So will attack roll first versus his might.
For the listeners at home, they couldn't see me make a disparaging. It's a might attack. Can I?
Will attack roll against his might.
Thank you.
But I would, if I were you, use your Wisdom of the Ages to transfer it to a wits roll, because then you'll get a better modifier plus a wheel.
Yeah. That's what I was actually staring at that right now. So here we go. 8 + 4 + 5, so 17.
Blaine Valdison, the spokesman for the Sons of Ivaldi and a major presence for the Winter Wise in the town of Hamilcar, is devolved into a puddle of protein and goo.
Very sensible.
You can flush him away if you wish.
Can I search the goo? I just want to make sure there's not a raven skull in amongst the goo.
As a minor activity, you can search the goo, and it just sticks to your fingers, and
I've got bugs.
it's a bit galoopy.
Bill, was that your first kill?
Yes, not my first attempted, but it's never worked on anything before. That's right.
Congratulations!
Thank you. I can die happy.
Yeah, congratulations. Well done.
Thank you.
You contributed.
Jerk.
Let's go to the top of the next round. Gigi, you have, in those precious few seconds, you have bundled the hostages out of the front door, and you can exit stage left and advance towards the wharf, which is to the north. It's a brisk run away, and you can't really see anything unless you go into your pack and bring out your torchlight, or perhaps a flare. You haven't used a flare for a few episodes.
Good suggestion. Gigi's going to reach into his pocket and pull out the torchlight.
And are you running towards the wharf?
I feel like the heavy suggestion.
No, it's entirely it's entirely up to you. You can amble towards the wharf. You can head back towards air. You may do whatever you like. You were the one that said you were almost fated to face the Jotnar, who are your despised foes.
Yes, I mean he knows they're coming and he's not sure who they are, so he's going to go look and see what's going on there. So he's going to saunter, and yes, he'll use a flare to light the way. And and he's feeling confident because things really went his way there. He got into the temple, he got the hostages out of the temple. He's like wow, that's...
Killed some people.
You know what they say about pride comes before a fall.
Nope, he does not know.
I don't think it's pride. I don't think it's pride. I think he's just delightfully surprised. He did not expect it to go that well.
In the halo of a few lanterns at the edge of the wharf, and perhaps in the searchlight of the icebreaker that has crashed into the dock, spewing ice shards onto the shore, you see a huge hulking Jotnar surrounded by other great looming beasts. These are hideous, deformed creatures like many of the Jotnar who survived the war. They are filth-encrusted, hairy beasts, the result of bone and muscle and nerve transplantation experiments on Jotunheim. Leading them is a more normal figure, still cruelly scarred by war. He is wearing a polar bear pelt. He snarls as you approach and he says, "Well, if it isn't Lord Big Bollocks, caught with his grubby mitts in the biscuit tin. Well, me old China, you know what we do with tea leaves round here."
If it isn't my old friend Daniel, whose name is as uncreative as his words.
My fucking name's in the Bible, mate, and this here is mine by birthright. You can fuck off to whatever specimen cup you were spaffed into, Asgard. Literal land of wankers.
I was hoping you'd say something like that, and I'm gonna... Is he on a beast?
No, he and his Jotun whalers have effectively crashed their icebreaker ship into the docks, summoned by the Norns to arrive at this exact moment to contest your claim on Helmukar.
How big is Daniel? If he's a Jotnar, is he larger than a size 2?
His bodyguard are size 2.
His bodyguard are size 2.
You'll need to think about what you're going to do for the next round, because it's taken this round to get you towards that scene of confrontation. We will come back to you.
All right.
Pretty sure he already knows what he's going to do.
Air.
Yes.
Now, you're pretty much on your own on this hilltop overlooking the city. And your focus has very much been on bringing down shards of lightning from the skies. And so you haven't noticed the Doc Alpha begin to crawl from the ground around you. You hear, "If it isn't Ed the Amorous, come a-courting. What will it be this time? Will you twine your legs around a troll woman, or merely make a date with disaster? When I am done with you, you will spend eternity caged in a kettle, boiled alive every night." Immediately behind you, as you turn round, is an old, antiquated dverg. It is an obsolete model destined for the scrapyard that you once inhabited.
Air has one storm seat left. Can he land it so that it hits, like put it behind the baddie so that it hits a big group of them and this diverg, but not himself?
You could. Remember, there are other Doc Alpha assassins who have emerged from the soil using the underground tunnels that they have sowed to navigate their way from Kongstein to Halpmakan.
Okay, another possibility is that if he... where is it? The ability that lets him walk into the ground. When Doc Alpha walk through the ground, can they interact with other Doc Alpha in the ground?
Stonewalk enables you to pass through walls, doesn't enable you to live there. So again, they've dug these tunnels and then drifted up through the earth. You could reverse that and go through the ground into their tunnels and make a run for it.
Crap. Or are they all around? Just behind, in front, or are they all around?
They are all to one side. They are all flanking you.
Well, I mean, he said pretty clearly he's going to make me suffer forever, and there's assassins all over the place. So, yeah, the best defense is a good offense. We'll drop a storm seat on all of them and see what happens. Oh, and then book it heroically.
Well, start by making the roll then.
All right, so that's 5d6 plus 5 once again. That makes 24. 24 might save with 2 woes for half.
You're really kind of building up the strain at this point.
It's a stressful day.
Whilst it won't explode right at this moment, you're carrying it with you, and it will eventually, like chickens, come home to roost. Rooster, Bill, rooster.
yes, I get that. Callback.
Many of the Doc Alpha are flung to one side by your quick-thinking blast. However, Red Gold, the Enclave leader, the heap of ironwood that you once inhabited, simply begins to grind and whir softly in the darkness with a series of mechanical clicks and the smooth swivel of gears. The compact broken form unfolds into a towering war engine, plates and pistons locking into place with a satisfying snap.
Well, shit.
That will be Red Gold's action for this turn. Transforming like a Decepticon.
Good. Getting all the cultural references.
It helps with the hashtags. Leoby, we'll go to you in the Firefox Institute.
Can I meditate to restore everlasting runes?
You can improve to meditate, in fact. And you can get 2 spells back.
Oh, okay. So I'll get back everlasting runes. Dream Monster. It didn't end when I everlasting ruined the guy into goop.
Oh, it did. Look at you knowing the rules. Yes, you probably need to recommence your Shroud of Invisibility.
For the listener, I'm tapping the side of my head in indication, unconvincing as it is, my own deep intelligence. All right. But I can cast that again anyway. Gandreed is still...
Gandreed will last another few turns as well.
All right, well, I think it's just everlasting runes I have to restore. Oh, summon spirits, I guess.
So you're having a little pause, perhaps under a desk.
Yes.
To rekindle your command of the Galder. Over the PA system, the intercom, you hear a voice crackle to life. You have stolen the history of Empire and with it doomed the future. Do not understand mankind cannot be ruled by a tree. It must make its own destiny. Return the Raven Skull or Ragnarok is complete. Think of all the progress undone. The 9 homeworlds lost to our fleets.
Do I recognize the voice?
It sounds like the arch tones of Bangzi Ivalison speaking from somewhere within the Institute.
Can I start moving my way down?
You can next round. Go! Your squadron of Isbjorn is now pummeling the remaining overclocked into the dirt. Some of them are bloodied, battered, and bruised, having taken the brunt of the small arms fire, but to a large extent the soldiers have been overwhelmed, and what with the sorcerer's storm from air, your Alpha cavalry have made short work of the enemy. The various townsfolk are surrounding you, including the Dverg Vetkret, who says, "Oh, we are very pleased to be making your acquaintance. Thank you so much for coming to our rescues. I could give you a kiss on the cheeks."
Shut up and get on a bear now.
Which cheeks would you like me to kiss you on?
Your ass. Now move. I want to get them going as fast as possible onto the bears so we can start pulling them out. Assuming I'm understanding the way this battle's flowing, I think it makes sense to kind of retreat southeast towards the old mine, because that might be a good hiding spot to keep them safe from anything that's about to happen in the next couple turns. Does that sound logical?
That would be a sensible evacuation plan. You would be away from the Doc Alpha incursion to the east, the Jotnar invasion to the north, and to the west, whatever the Firefox Institute has to throw up against Leomi.
How many of us are left in the group? Like, how many bears are left?
Fighting fit and unwounded, we will say half a dozen riders.
Half of this, okay. And are they strong enough to take multiple hostages, or really only one?
Going relatively slowly, people holding onto the harnesses or tagging along. The townsfolk themselves aren't walking wounded, and so given that the threat is broadly dealt with in the center of town, then you can evacuate with some ease and just lead them all out.
Yeah, how about I'm going to order any injured ones who are fighting feet should probably evacuate with the hostages and kind of send them down south towards the old mine. And then I would take 2 bears who are fighting fit, and the 3 of us would ride after Gigi to go support him in his fight. And while that's all going on, I would like to do energy burst to heal after that battle. And I think that's my turn.
You will be able to ride to Gigi over the course of the next turn and be with him one turn after. Gigi, let's go to you. A couple of things happen by the key. First of all, before you can unleash whatever retribution you plan on delivering, you see one of the Jotnar, a grime-encrusted female, calls out, "Where is he, my bondsman? I heard he brought me diamonds, and I wish to grind him to show my appreciation."
Oh God, she's back.
Daniel says, "Come on then, you botfucker. Show us what you got."
Are we ready? Are we ready for
fast
this?
turn or slow turn?
I'm going to use Gigi the way he was meant to be used.
You're jumping on him. You're jumping on him, aren't you?
No, he's not big enough. So I'm going to use an action to cast Blood Runes, which will give me 3d6 extra damage. Then I'm going to use a triggered action for Hammer of the Gods, which is going to give me a wheel on my attack roll. I'm going to use my Gift of Shape Strong to give myself an extra action. And I'm going to take aim at Daniel's face, and I'm going to shoot. It's going to be a burst, but it's going to be aimed right at between the eyes.
So that means that you roll an extra d6 damage if you hit. So roll your...
Nice. Okay, you ready?
Mhm.
Gigi's lifts his gun up to look at Daniel, and he's gonna say, Daniel, you're about to find out what it's like to take a silver medalist in the Tonga Honk up your ass! Natural 20! Okay, so roll for damage. So that's 8d6, right? Right between the eyes. 9d6, because I aimed. This might take a while.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Yep. Carry the 5.
Ooh, a 6 for the last one. That 38 in your face! You disgusting piece
Nice.
of fish meat! I hate you!
Funnily enough that you should say that, because as your blast eviscerates the Jotun chieftain and sends the bare fur tumbling bloody to the ground, the sea behind you churns violently, whipped into a frenzy as a giant storeworm breaches the surface. Its massive scaled body coils and twists above you, sending the Jotnar sailors to run desperately for safety. With a deafening roar, the serpent looms above you, its ring of teeth glistening in the darkness. Air, you're around.
Okay.
Transformers, Duck Alpha in disguise.
Wow.
Good God.
Air is going. Jason. Air is going to use a triggered action. He's going to use Boon, along with Great Wrath, in the hopes of infuriating this Decepticon into attacking one or more of its friends. In fact, anyone other than him. God, hope this works. It's his wits with a wheel against its will with a woe.
I think he's
19.
going to use his counterweave ability. So remove that last d6.
So 15 then. And a rude gesture. Air will point at one of his random other assassins and kill him!
Think not.
Yeah. That was worth
Red
a
Gold
try.
was and is something of a sorcerer. Just because you caged him in an errant piece of old crap doesn't mean that he doesn't possess a steely determination and a magical mind.
Oh. Well, that's not good.
His retribution comes from exactly the same hellstones as Bryn, Valdi's daughter, fired upon you last time. Suspense, suspense, suspense.
Yeah.
From the glowing hellstone that he clutches in his hand as his implement, he fires high energy Niftine particles that spread through the area. Can you make a might challenge roll, please?
Probably not, but we'll try it. Any wheel or woe I should know about? I mean, clearly I got a
One,
bunch of wheels for some reason.
whoa.
Oh, well, okay, fine. So, 9.
A 9 when you need a 10, so you're going to take 6
Yeah.
damage, but you are also blinded.
You idiot.
You idiot. Well, hell. All right, 6 points.
Taylor,
Okay. Blinded.
I am going to ask you to make a will challenge roll because the emergence of the storeworm that you are charging at through the darkness is a horrifying beast. So a will roll with 1 woe.
Can I use Wisdom of the Ages to make it a wits roll?
You can.
And since that's with 1 wheel, that negates the woe, right?
Correct.
That is a 20.
You are unfazed by the emergence of the great sea serpent, the Isbion less so, and they bulk, refusing to advance further. You can leap off your mount and attempt to attack the beast next round if you rush to Gigi's aid.
Okay, yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll jump off Snow White and rush up, and then would that put me now close enough that I could use Warden Tree on Gigi?
Enough so that you can teleport to his side using the wires and wherefores of the greenways to provide your guardian tree protection for your stalwart comrade.
Beautiful.
Bill, what did you want to do? You may descend the stairs into the Firefox basement.
Yes, that's what I want to do. Continue moving forward. But I will cast Dream Monster again. Triggered action Dream Monster, so I'm invisible again.
Okay, so you get a fast turn and a slow turn. At the foot of the stairs is a sight to behold. In the center of this room is a hideous approximation of the supercomputer MIM, comprised of the grey matter of thousands of murdered skulls. The machine has clearly been painstakingly rebuilt, far from prying eyes. Standing next to it, in a frenzied state, slavering like a wolf on the prowl, is Bangsi Evalderson. At his back are two shadowy, hungry wolves.
Okay. I haven't used my fast turn yet, right?
You have not.
Am I within reach? Can I poke him with the everlasting runes? That's what I'm saying.
You could indeed, if you wish to rush up to the white-robed lector of the Firefox Institute. Bangsi is the leader of this shadowy cabal who has helped engineer the Swordfall. You saw him pilot the shuttle Gungnir into the heart of the sun. And clearly, his clones survived. He has benefited from the vast wealth to set himself up here in the Firefox Institute.
Well, speaking as a healer, it's all about the circle. So I would like to touch him and do an offer.
Wait! You hold the very fate of the 9 homeworlds in your hand. Will you not think of the consequences? Will you not help me power up this machine so that the Empire can thrive? Without it, there will be no connection between the worlds, and everything will fade to myth. What can I give you? What will seal a bargain for my survival? Would you perhaps like me to bring the Falkir from a museum? Would you perhaps like to fly the Skiff Vladimir flagship? What is your price, Alpha?
My price is Ixadril, and I touch him with the everlasting runes. Reversed. I'm going for my second kill.
Roll.
All right, so I can do the wisdom trick.
You can.
And okay, Steve, I need all your magic mojo in the background. Oh, and I can use I haven't used any of my spirits either. How many of those could I use? I get one wheel already, I believe. So let's add 2 more. So I got 12 plus 4 is 16, and then 16 plus 4, so 20 altogether. Not a natural 20, which of course has a 5% chance of occurring anyway.
The cybernetic sorcerer, the head of the Firefox Institute and the Winter Wires, dissipates into dust and drifts off throughout the basement. The 2 wolfish spirits behind him leap from his now desiccated body and fly into the machine behind you, the great abacus that's constructed with human heads instead of beads, the skulls skewered in neat rows of electronic circuitry. And suddenly, the overcomputer shudders into life The spirits that were caged within Bangsia Valdison, the wolfish spirits of Geri and Preki, hunger and greed, now power Mim 2.0, or as it is known, the Death Mask.
I don't happen to see a raven skull.
Make an awareness roll for me.
I was very tempted to fake it and just go natural 20. I didn't feel I could do it against them. And do I have to announce wheels before I roll?
Preferably.
Okay, let's do 2 wheels, preferably. Delivered so delicately. 17 plus 4.
Amongst the screaming skulls that are threaded by the circuitry, you notice the Wolverine head of armor. You notice many other familiar faces, their rictus smiles grinning back at you. If there is a raven skull, if there are other familiar skulls, you are so shocked by the sight of so many fallen comrades being used, being harvested to power this obscenity, that you are shocked and stumble backwards as the machine begins to slather and howl its curses at you.
Hear now Alma's song. It will be sung full soon, so that it is heard the whole world around, harmful to those who hear it, but most fell for the so-called friends who I now curse.
Shall trolls and elves and tricking witches, shall dwarfs and ettins burn down thy mead hall.
Shall thyrses hate you, and horses ride you? Shall all straws stick to you, and all storms stun you?
May thy bed be for thee like burning straw.
Thy high seat unsteady, like a heaving wave, yet woe awaits thee, much worse by far.
Minded forever to murder your kin, your foul deeds will be told far and wide. Have a great life.
And on that bombshell, back to Gigi.
So Gigi is staring down the, what do you call the inside of a giant worm's mouth?
A maw.
The end.
Maw.
A maw. Okay.
Ma,
So-
nice.
A toothy
Gigi's-
maw.
Yeah, he's looking down his toothy maw, and he's been wanting to climb on something really large ever since he became a giant's bane. And so his first action is going to be to rush it at twice speed. And then,
That's-
as a triggered action, he's going to use Giant's Bane and climb on it. And while he's climbing on it, he's going to use his gift of Yarnglofar, which allows him to hold on to the creature and ride it like a horsey. And then,
Yes. I think if you're using your shape strong ability, then you can take several of these turns, but I'm still going to need an attack roll from you in
climb it?
order to grab the creature and move onto its body.
13. Did I do it? Lucky number 13. Let's see what happens.
You need to beat its might. You have, unfortunately, failed to grab the creature, whilst you might snatch at the air as it wreathes above you. You have been unable to land and grab, find any purchase in order to haul yourself onto its back.
So I'm going to use Shape Strong.
Good
and
idea.
Give myself another action. But since I failed to climb it, then I'm going to cast Wave Runes on the ground and surround myself in a shield, so that when it decides to try and bite at me, I will be okay.
In which case, make me the might roll, because you're
Okay.
using your genetically enhanced abilities to give you an extra burst of adrenaline and stamina.
I got another nat 20.
Okay.
What's happening to me today?
Nice.
Nat 20s, 2 in a row is like a 1 in 400 chance or something like that.
I'm
Yeah.
really worried about next round.
These percentage calculations you're doing off the top of your head, Ian, I think are the nerdiest single statements I've ever heard you utter. And that is really saying something.
Probability. Fun for
Yeah,
everybody.
well, I agree.
I think that might be the new slogan for this podcast. Probability, fun for everybody. We'll come back to you then, Gigi, having carved the wave runes to create a protective barrier against you and the monstrous worm above you that may well be forced to attack the approaching Cole.
Beautiful. I am.
You
going
can use a
to-
triggered action to make a slithering attack. So if you enter its range, that toothy maw and its darting fangs may be headed in your direction.
Watching Gigi throw caution to the wind and jump, I'm going to hold back, and I think I'm going to pull my Hossvetter out and fire into the beast from a safer distance for now. We'll do the usual three attacks. 26, 16, and 8.
Although you need to make a woe on attack rolls against its defense. So maybe that first one will hit and you can roll for damage. It will halve the damage because of its steely scales.
Got it. Good roll, though. Math. 21 points of damage.
It uses its slithering escape. So when you get a failure on an attack roll against a Stormworm, it can use a triggered action to move half its speed. And then on its slow turn, it circumvents the wave runes, moving towards you, Cole. So it is going to do you with its bite. You take a 13 damage, but I also need you to make a might challenge roll with 3 woes as this beast drips Iter, the Norse primordial poison.
Yeah, it's going to be -1.
You
Oh dear.
also take damage equal to half your health. So,
Total health is 62.
okay, so you take 31 from the poison. In addition, the Stormworm slithers around you, using its body to constrict and crush you. You are grabbed, and next round you will take even more damage.
As if the primordial poison.
That was insane.
Steve, you face down Red Gold, your
Yeah.
former mentor, confidant, nay, lover. I've just made that up.
What?
But you know, love
Really been
relationship.
making time all over the place.
Why, thank you. Ideas. It's been a very stressful day so far, and Air has really been straining himself a lot, and I think it's time for him to just let it all go. Just let all that strain out, and let them feel the strain and the unhappiness.
If you want to blow up entirely, as you have done before,
Yes.
which is the fractured fate,
Uh-huh.
I'm also going to remind you that you are blinded, so it's going to be difficult to
That's
pinpoint
perfect.
exactly where these people are.
I know where they were a moment ago, and Fractured Fate is an area effect centered on himself. No, a point within your reach. Yeah, now we'll just drop it right in front of him, where he's going to make a bit of an educated guess here, where he thinks they probably are, based on where they were a moment ago, and he'll do it blind, and he'll release all of his strain in one go. So that would be die 6 damage per point of power, so that's 5d6 to everything in the area other than me.
Okay, so first of all, you have to fail that will test, right? A will with number of woes. So your woes are...
Number of woes equal to your strain, so that's, I believe it's 5. So that's...
Okay, so 5 woes.
Yeah. On a failure. I can't just choose to fail?
No, because that would make it too easy to just explode. You have to, you're bottling up this rage and pain.
You don't want
Yeah.
it to be easy, Steve.
How about I'm just throwing stuff out. How about Boone to roll twice?
Sure.
Oh,
Hoping for the
fair enough.
fail?
Well, right, yeah, I'm hoping for the fail. Yeah. bit of an act of desperation. A 5 and a 15. Let's go with the 5. And so
5
that's
is fine. So now roll your damage
5d6 to everything in the area except me.
because you trigger your fractured fate. Your strain drops to 0 and you gain 1 trauma. You're immune to that trauma because of your
ancestral wisdom.
spirits.
So the blast radius was 5d6, which is 13, which is garbage.
The shockwave erupts, and any of the Doc Alpha that were supporting the lumbering, hulking form of Red Gold are now disintegrated by the fractured fate and tumble back, becoming one with the earth in which they came from. Red Gold staggers back from the blast, but he then unleashes, using his Hellstone, some Thurs energy, a concentrated blast, and you take 14 damage.
Okay. Yeah, that's not great. We need to stop doing this.
Bill.
I'll heal Steve. Oh, no, wait.
No, wait. You have a long range heal, right?
Across town healing, you face the deadly death mask.
It's in the name.
Yes, yes, I know. Oh, goodness.
The skulls emit a piercing howl, but before you can do anything, you must make a will challenge roll with 3 woes, please.
I have 1 spirit left. No, I don't. I used up 5. I don't know why I used to let 1, because I take the highest of the woes, right? Okay, so 2 of them were 6, and 1 of them was a 5. So that is good.
And the final number is?
Awful. It was an 8 minus 6. So, dude.
The screams, the nightmares, the howls, the loss, the sadness, the death of all of your comrades over these last 22 episodes come flooding into your addled brain. The memory loss make them all the more disassociated. I'm afraid you have to take 12 trauma.
Good God.
It's because your memory loss is doubled. So that puts you in an interesting position where I need you to roll for shell shock, because I think you've gone well over your limit. So roll a dice 20.
Would you come back to me later? I rolled a 4. Probably not great.
And so he had a stroke and died.
Yes.
Again.
My trunk split in twain.
You develop tremors, tics, and trembling, and are stunned. Stunned basically means you cannot move or use actions. You get an automatic failure on any challenge roll you would make. All other creatures use attack rolls against you with 1 wheel. You are effectively standing before the great wall of skulls that are all screaming obscenities, hatred, and curses at you, and shuddering slightly.
Sounds good.
Quick recap as we go to the top of the round. We've got Cole embraced in the serpent's kiss. We've got Steve playing Air, who is facing down a death machine. We've got Bill, who's also staring a machine of death in the face. And then CJ, protected by his runes, watching as this great beast drips ichor and venom onto his friend. Bill, you can't do anything. Taylor, you can try and escape if you wish to. DJ, what have you got in your impressive arsenal of things?
I've got a question.
Yep.
Does Boone take an action?
Boone can be used as a triggered action.
Triggered action.
Okay, so I'm going to use Yarn Glofar to climb the dang thing again And I'm going to use Boon as a triggered action to give myself 2 rolls, since I used up all my luck in the last 3 rolls. And see and hope that one of them works. And now I add my might modifier to these rolls, correct?
Yep.
All right.
You're trying to wrestle the huge, great world serpent off of Cole.
The idea is I'm going to grab it and then hopefully get it to release him. Roll number 1. You're not going to believe it.
Oh, God.
It's another 20.
Fantastic.
I can't believe it. I've never rolled like this in my life.
So the chances of that happening are incredibly slim.
1 in 8,000.
We'll assume it's the norms.
Well,
Yeah, it's the Norns.
You clamber on the back of the store worm.
It figures they're favoring you, you bastard, you big bastard. The rest of us are all dying.
I will
They were
take a
impressed
picture
by the
and
silver
send it to
medal.
Taylor.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can move into the creature's space. What do you want to do now that you have clambered atop?
Oh, yes. Shape Strong to use another action. And while I'm up there, I'm going to sing a song of praise, which will heal. It's well, hang on. Wait a minute. If I'm up there, do I have something else?
I think that's how we end it. We end it with CJ on top of it. It becomes a musical. CJ goes on top of the great big worm and just sings show tunes, and that's it. It becomes an all singing, all dancing number around the Church of the 1-2, and the chorus girls come on doing the can-can. The Isbion are doing a shimmy.
But I have an improved song of praise, which will allow me to heal Cole, who is still in the maw of the beast, and at least give him a fighting chance to not die immediately next turn. And hopefully it's distracted enough to let him go. And hopefully, I mean, the singing will help heal Cole, but I also hope that it will be so jarring to the creature's ears that it will start writhing and let him go. Like a dog whistle for a snake.
Snake whistle.
What's that song that's really popular with men in their 30s right now? The was it Dancing at the Pink Pony Club? Pink Pony Club! I'm gonna keep on dancing at the Pink Pony Club.
The store worm merely tightens its coils, constricting you further, irritated by the singing. Do you want to make a roll to escape there, Cole?
Yeah, did I get healing from that?
You get healing. You get
10 points.
Because you're an alpha. You get a third of your health, your healing
A
rate.
third of it. Oh, beautiful. Okay. Because my 1 hit point was looking pretty grim there. Yes, I will try and make a roll to escape. Might?
Yep.
Or sleight?
Either, actually.
Let's definitely do might then. Ooh, that's not bad. That's a 19.
All right, we will allow you to wriggle free from the serpent's coils and clamber to safety.
Thank you, Dee.
Steve,
Right.
what do you want to do?
Oliver's wise counsels are gone, so he can only do one thing. So his plan is to try Helm of Concealment and then Scarper.
All right, so Helm of Concealment. Make a sleight roll if you would, because it sees you disappear and wise to your tricks. It sprays the whole area with gunfire.
All right, Bill, you're watching this. This better be good.
Yeah, I'm watching.
Yeah. Oh, that's 15. That's better than I expected.
It was almost 3, but it tipped over.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
little moment of horror
In
there.
which
Yeah.
case, you take 13 damage.
Ow, my everything. We proceed with Plan Scarper.
Bill,
You got this.
Can I get out of being stunned and shaking and dribbling and dropping bugs on the ground? Whatever else.
unfortunately for you, you are drawn by the creature, by its robotic tendrils and wires that reach out and begin to wrap your stunned body and draw you into the computer. You are relentlessly dragged into the beating heart of the machine. Your eyes cloud, your memory fades. But your last glimpse is of the second Raven Skull, the head of Odin. Taylor, you are still got poisoned, so please make a might challenge roll.
There's a 20 plus 3, so 23.
Very good.
Nice.
The storeworm begins to slowly move off, slithering back towards the sea. Hasn't quite reached the end of the jetty yet where it can plop back in, but it has satiated itself by eating Daniel and is now retreating back to the depths. CJ, you are still on it.
That is correct.
What do you want to do?
So it's going away. It'll be back, right? It's coming back, right?
Right now, it looks like it's headed towards the sea. Like I said, it's just eaten the person that it was destined to eat.
Oh, that's all it wanted? Would Gigi even notice?
No.
No. I didn't think so. So Gigi is going to use his ability Mejanjord to try and steer the creature. That is a triggered action, by the way.
Yep. Very good. So steer away. Might attack roll against the creature's will.
Actually, as an action, I am going to use Boon, since it was a waste last time and it seemed to go in my favor. So as an action, Boon, and as a triggered action, Mejanjord trying to steer the creature. This is going to be fun. Because now Gigi's just like, baby, I can get it on our side.
That's good, solid thinking.
So 10 plus 3 would be 13. Does that win? I'll roll again if not.
It does. You may steer the creature like we're mixing all of the sci-fi films here. You are now riding the storeworm, the sea serpent, like Paul Atreides, as if it were a engine. Where do you want to take it?
To go help my allies. So he's
Which one? They're in different directions.
They are from the ocean. I don't know who's what to Luomi because he has the Raven Skull, and I will use Shape Strong again because I want another action because I want to raise the Raven banner, which will stop others from being afraid of the creature who are on my side. So that way I'm not scaring the crap out of all of our troops and the Isbjorn, and they can still fight.
Steve, your ancestral wisdom has ceased at the beginning of this round. You are invisible.
I'm really gonna need it.
Are you hightailing it to the hills?
Well, if I take an action, the invisibility will drop, and that would be bad. So, yeah, not to the hills, no. Into town, because that's where the action is.
Headed into Helpmakar, towards the Church of the 1-0.
That direction, yeah.
Behind you, the war machine is moving with immense rapidity, and it catches you despite your invisibility because it has the senses of the world tree, is able to pluck you, grabbing you by the heel and thumping you onto the ground.
I want my diamonds back.
Is 11, 17, 23 damage. As it picks you up and thumps you, using you like a club to hammer against one of the nearby buildings.
Well, that's not great. I'm at negative 13 now.
Do you want to make a fate roll for me, please? Was it a dice 6?
Sugar.
No, just say
Dice
no.
6. Yeah, I could just say no, couldn't I? Yeah. That would be at 2.
Better find another rock.
Yeah. Want to go to Valhalla. Want to go to Valhalla. Want to go to Valhalla.
You
Want to go back to Valhalla.
prone and lapse into unconsciousness, your diamond-encrusted form cracking as you lie prone in the perpetual midnight.
Blessed oblivion.
The last thing you see is your Jotun widow lead a berserk attack that drives off Red Gold and she comes to you, cradling your broken head. Do not leave me, my diamond, Leomi. You are in the process of being devoured by this machine, sucked into its innards. Your various fronds and branches and leaves being ripped from you. So at that moment that a huge Ispion wanders down the stairs into the Institute, and he growls at the caged spirits and the wolves, Gary and Fricky, that were powering the machine, leave it and trot to him. And then, with a caw of thanks, the raven around your neck flies off the perch on the bear's shoulders, and the second raven emerges from the machine and also alights on top of the bear, landing on his snout. For a moment, you see an old man in a white fur coat, and he seems strangely reminiscent of the old ferryman or the lunatic mathematician on the space station. He taps you and he says,
"That'll do, Dragonbold. That'll do. There's wine to be drunk and more battles to be fought."
And then he ambles off up the stairs into the wilds without another word, dragging your spirit from your corporeal body to follow you there. Minutes later, he passes by the crumpled body of Air, ignoring the racking sobs of his Jotnar widow.
"It's time now, Einar. Let us be off. Back to my hall."
He turns briefly to you, CJ, still riding your storeworm heroically. He tips his hat, or perhaps he, depending on what you see, he might just twirl his white polar bear whiskers, but either way, the man bear catches your eye and says,
"Over to you now, Jarl. Don't fuck it up. Keep your proclivities in your pants. We don't want any Freya fiascos now, do we?"
And with that, he turns and disappears into the mist, ascending Bifrost with two bickering spirits in tow.
As Gigi's riding the worm and sees him disappear, he thinks to himself,
What? Who the fuck was that? Is that the same man-bear thing that was that we completely ignored when we were riding to go see the Otnar?
Yeah, it's been Odin who's been like following you
The whole time.
You've been nothing but rude or ignored him.
It turns out that Odin was the friends we made along.
Gigi's riding this thing, but now there's nobody left to fight, right? Is there anybody left to fight?
So we close our campaign with Cole looking on in bemusement as you basically ride round on a storeworm, waving your hat and your cape and shouting for pure delight.
Do you think they give silver medals for serpent riding?
The Vikings and Valkyries podcast is hammered together by a dedicated team of Skalds and Smiths. Please don't forget to like, share, and sacrifice to the old gods.
Oh.